we're now going to prepare the bank reconciliation. And the bank reconciliation is going to our cash at bank account and seeing that it says we've got $747 in it, and reconciling that to some external evidence from the business. And what's some external evidence? Well, it is the bank statement, the statement we get from the bank. And the bank says we have $8,535 credit in the bank. Now remember, a bank statement is written from the bank's perspective, so they owe you $8,535, so that is a liability, so that is a credit from their perspective. But from your perspective, it is a debit. So, but nonetheless, the numbers, it still doesn't reconcile. So it doesn't, it won't agree for two key areas. One is, there's some items, and I've put some ticks in here, let me take those ticks out. There'll be some items that are on the bank statement that have not yet found their way into our accounts, and there'll be some items in the accounts that have not yet found their way onto the bank statement. So let's go and start that, and remember the 747. So we have bank reconciliation. I've got these in too, so let me take them out and I'll put them straight back in. So I'll start with the 747, the balance as per the cash book, general ledger, cash book is 747. Make sure you link it to the cell I just linked it to, not one below, because this will automatically update. We're going to put more information in. 747, the balance as per the bank statement is 8535. Now, deposits in transit. What are deposits in transit and how do we find out about them? Well, a deposit in transit is a deposit that you have made at the end of the month, typically at the end of the month, otherwise it would be unusual. Maybe close of business on the 31st of May, you put your bank, you took your bank down, you put it in the overnight safe. So for your records, it's in, you recorded it in the cash, you've recorded it as a deposit in your books, but it hasn't got through to the bank yet. So what we'll do now is go and to the cash receipts journal, and we'll see if there's any deposits that could be missing. So let's have a look at these deposits. So we have 29,000. We'll put in here T in this column for tick. We have 12,000 from Arthur Fons, tick, next one down. Now we're 11,275, tick. And mostly the dates are lining up. Then we've got 225,000s, tick, tick. They have both been deposited. And the deposit on the 20th, so here's an example that could have been an outstanding a deposit in transit. On the 19th is where our cash sales, they clearly didn't get in the bank that day, and they went in total with our Arthur Fons payment. So we add those two together and we will get 40,447. So tick. Now there's no deposits we have that are deposits in transit, but there is a deposit we have which we've not put in. So let's go back to our bank rec, and we can say 0 here. Now this has not gone green, and there is a few times when items won't go green, and it's when they're 0, because they'd be green right from the start and you'd be marked right before you got anything. There's only a few cases of those, and we'll point them out to you, but we just want you to think about how there can be exceptions. The thing we want to do now, but you've got to be saying, am I very confident about this figure? Yes, I am. What we're trying to track down now is the 33,662, and we go back here and we can see, yes, last month that was displayed as a deposit in transit. So you won't be able to put that tick in there, but that's okay. I can unprotect those cells, but it's not something we really need to do. I had that cell unprotected, the sheet unprotected. So we can see where that figure come from. Now we go to deposit in transit 0. There is no bank errors. We've put that space in because, not that bank errors happen a lot, but they can, and that would happen if you had an amount written on in your books that come out as differently on the bank statement. And the reverse could happen. You could copy something wrong from the bank statements into your accounts. So in total, there's going to be no additions. Now, it hasn't turned green, but we will have a verification for when we get to the adjusted bank balance. If it doesn't turn green, then we have an issue. We're now doing a similar process to what we just did, and that's outstanding cheques, or sometimes referred to as unpresented cheques. So we go back to the special journals, down to the cash payments journal, and here we see our cheque numbers. We want to make sure all those cheques have gone into the bank. Now, I've unprotected these cells, or at least I hope I have, so you can tick them off. If it's not unprotected, a bit of problem solving would be needed, and you could use one of these two columns and clear out when you're finished, because they are unused columns. So let's go to Orange Computer 612. Is it done? Check. T, done. 613, can we find 613? Check, done. 614, can we find 614? Check, done. 615, can we find 615? Check, done. Can we find 616? Can't find 616, so let's go back and put the T's in. We did find, let me see, 614, 612, 613, 614, 615. No 616, there's no T there. There is, so 617T and 617T. We also have two direct transfers. T, T, and they are here. So now we're starting to see there is going to be some differences between what we've recorded in our bank account, which has gone through cash receipts and cash payments, and what's come through on the bank statement. But this part of the project was to identify unpresented cheques, and we can see we have unpresented cheque, cheque 616, salaries expense 8250. So we can go bank rec, cheque number is 616. The amount is, well, let's go back, put the link in. 616-8250. This is the amount here, cash at bank, which is correct. There was no others, so that total should be 8150 equals the sum of these two, and it's correct. So our adjusted bank balance is 8535 plus any deposits in transit minus any unpresented cheques of 285. So you can see those accounts getting a bit closer. Now we've got to add the items that don't appear on the They don't appear in our books but do appear on the bank statement. One of them we just might want to check this cheque from last month. Let's go back. Also we'll go up the top. Unpresented cheque to 26,833,575 and tick, that is now accounted for. But we can see we do have some unaccounted items for still. So let's see some of the things. Add. Do we have some income here? Interest not taken up. Actually there is none. So, because all the credit items are satisfied. But it is possible to have those. Well, we'll put in the sum, or 0, you can just write in 0. Now, bank fees. Bank fees, do we have much in the way of bank fees? Well, we have an overdrawing fee, plus. We have an overdrawing fee, plus. Now let's tick those off. Tick. And tick. And we have interest not taken up. So we've got an interest expense which we've not yet accounted for. Here's the $22. And we put in there a tick. So we can see everything that's been recorded on our bank statement we can account for in our statements. And everything that was in our statements we can account for on the bank statement. So we should now balance. So we can add this up. Sum $462. So we have the bank account opening balance plus any incoming money we've not accounted for, less any withdrawals we've not accounted for, and we have a closing balance of $285. So our bank account has reconciled. That's still only part of it. What we need to do now was make some journal entries to bring these items to account. So let's call our general journal up. General journal, the bank reconciliation, June 30. Now, here's a good point actually. June 30. If we go through our general tests of where a bank goes, the cash payments, these items now are both cash payments, the items are going to have our bank, that would go in the cash payments journal. That's where it would rightly go. However, we're not putting them in there at this time. And why not? Well, it's because, let's go back and have a look. In the special journals, with cash payments journals, we've already gone down and we've posted these items for the month. So effectively those items have been posted. This is a post balance date item, so we're doing that in a general journal. Now another way to do it, and a smarter way to do it, but it wouldn't explain how to do a bank reconciliation, is to keep on top of this information, get your bank statement as soon as you can, and record those bank details before the end of the month, before you've closed off. But we haven't. So we need bank statement. So we have bank fees. So these are this is going to be the cash at bank account. So let's get back to the general ledger, get the right account names. Cash at bank. I've locked that, so cash at bank A5. And The account numbers are going to be bank fees and they're going to be interest. So we could link those names from a few places, or you could just type the names in, but you need to make sure you've got an account for those names. So we could look at the trial balance, we could look at the general ledger, or the real place you go is the chart of accounts. So we go to the chart of accounts. Now we have interest expense, so interest expense and bank fees. So interest expense and bank fees. So we'll do bank fees came first. So let's have a look. When all other things being equal, you probably would do the items in chart of accounts order. So we'll do interest expense first, and then we will do bank fees. So now we've just got there to find out what the chart of account names are. So they've got legitimate accounts we're going to go to. Back to the bank rec. So bank fees were $440. Actually, interest expense was $22. And bank fees was $440. And cash at bank is $462. And bringing to account expenses identified in bank reconciliation process. That will work. This will be G3, and we can now post these items to the general ledger. We'll start with bank first because this is at the top. June 30, bank rec. It's going to be a credit, 462. Let's put in here equals the closing balance because that's the last entry we've got on that one. This is account 101. This is the interest expense. Oh, we haven't posted that, have we? So let's go down. So we know expenses are way down at the bottom. We know these are the 600s, interest expense, 630, but we better make sure we post it. June 30. Int was June. Checkbook account. Could also put in bank rec there, because if you put in the bank rec, you'd go back and you'd find the details of that. It's going to be a debit, $22. And bank fees, lucky they're handy, is June 30, June check account, equals 440. This is G2. Actually it's G3, so I better fix that up, but we'll put the link into the cell and then I'll fix it. And this is item 632. G3. So they all seem to be done. Our bank rec is complete.